and welcome back to the Hot Lap. Welcome to our Monaco Grand Prix Preview. Will Max Verstappen reign supreme again around the Riviera? However, as you can see to the left of me, before we start talking about Max Verstappen, the all-important Monaco Grand Prix times for the UK and an hour for Europe. I'm not too sure if you're in America, I apologise. But on the Friday, we have practice session starting at 12:30. We've got practice 2 sessions start at 4, which is that's really late in the day, isn't it? 4. And then on the Saturday, we've got 3 p.m. for the Monaco Grand Prix qualifying. And on the Sunday, as well as all the feature races, because Formula 3 and Formula 2 is going to be here, 2 o'clock is go for the Monaco Grand Prix. So, a couple of big questions. Is Max Verstappen going to win the Monaco Grand Prix? I have no idea. I think a lot of it, so much of it is now going to depend on the qualifying. And as we know, for example, like in Imola, he was tested, wasn't he? Monaco is street track, for example, like Singapore, where Red Bull struggled. It's going to be interesting. I think they're bringing the softest tyres as well. I think they brought the softest tyres to Imola as well. And Red Bull seemed to struggle a bit on the hards at Imola. So it's going to be interesting. However, let's get into the track, shall we? So here we are in a Ferrari, as I'm going to have to close the... as you can see the epic green screen fail. So, here we are. So we're coming out of what's really important here. We're coming out of essentially the last corner. The Rascasse. Marcus Schumacher, the Rascasse, and then the Anthony nose into the start-finish straight towards what is known as Santa Vot. Realistically, one of the few kind of like legit passing places. And so this is the only place, Monaco doesn't really have a straight to its name at all, but this is the only place where we have DRS. So, yeah, and here we go. Braking then for one of the most famous first corners, Santa Vot. You've got plenty of run on the inside. On the right there, you've got on the right, well, just where my head is, basically. You've got the pit lane exit all the way up now. Brewer Rivage, Massenet, we're coming up now, and then on the right we've got Casino. I think it's still called Casino. Now you can see passing down here into Mirabeau. It does happen, and then all the way down we've got I think one of the slowest corners in Formula 1 is the left-hander, and it's now called the Grand Hotel Hairpin. It used to be called Lowe's, I think. Hairpin, I'm sure, but now the Grand Hotel Hairpin into Mirabeau, and then into Portier. This is a really important corner in Portier. You want to get it run. As you can see, the Ferrari is absolutely on the wrong line, which is not great. But in the right hand, and then put the power down for Le Tunnel. This is one of the few things I remember about Formula 1 is the tunnel, watching my parents watch it, knowing that one of the tracks had a tunnel, and it was really cool. And it is really cool. So into the tunnel we go. We ended up scraping the side. Not as bad as Montoya and Schumacher though. I think in 2000, I'm not sure, 2004 maybe. But here is the other now in the Nouvelle Chicane. The other overtaking opportunity at Monaco. Yes, I dare argue we've seen more overtakes here than we have at Santa Vot. Really, really tight. Get it in, and then on the power, nice and early. As we come through to back. Many people have crashed it in this corner here, and through I think it's called the Louis Chiron and the swimming pool, or piscine, as the French people say. There we go. Yeah, this is it. And this corner here, where we're at now, is one of Max Verstappen's favourite because he crashed there. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't do it this year. Want to avoid that. And then at towards the end of the track, we've got the Rascasse, Michael Schumacher's favourite parking place, into the anti-nose again, and through to another lap. That's the Monaco track, so to speak. But let's have a look at a few facts of the Monaco track, shall we? So, here we go. The track length is 3.337 kilometres. We have 78 laps and 19 turns for Monaco. Not too bad, is it? Let's have a look at a few other facts though. It's held at 69 races. The track record is owned by a certain 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton on a 110.166 all the way in 2019. But the lap record, a 112.909, again, Lewis Hamilton in 2021. So who is the best at Monaco? Well, since 1950, as I said, it's 69 races. It wasn't there due to the pandemic in 2020. But it's been ever present on the calendar since 1955. It is constantly under threat, though, but because it doesn't produce the best racing. Now, the driver with the most wins is Ayrton Senna, who took wins 6 times. That's one more than Graham Hill and Michael Schumacher. Graham Hill, though, is and has always been known as Mr. Monaco, because obviously way before Ayrton Senna, he was a Monaco specialist. Now, 8 drivers have back-to-back wins at Monaco. The most consecutive here is 5, which is Ayrton Senna, having won for McLaren in every year between 89 and 1993. Now, Senna's streak is the longest of the wins for any single team at the circuit, a la McLaren. Now, Graham Hill is the only driver to have won consecutive races here twice, though. He won 3 Monaco Grand Prix in a row, and that's between 1963 and 1965, but then he won again 2 more times in 68 and 69. The previous winners of the Monaco Grand Prix on the current group, we've got Lewis Hamilton taking his 3rd victory in 2019, but I don't think this is a Lewis Hamilton speciality track. This is one of the circuits where quite commonly he's been outperformed by his teammate. It happens more than you think. So despite those 3 victories, I don't think this is Lewis's strongest track. Obviously, Fernando Alonso's won here, and has Max Verstappen. They both won here twice. Ricciardo took victory in 2018. Probably should be a 2-time winner. He missed out, didn't he, as well? I think that one of the previous years, which he was very upset with. And when he did take that victory, it was absolutely amazing because he basically had no turbo. And Sergio Perez became a Monaco winner in 2022. British drivers have won here, though, more often than any other drivers. We've got, as in, talking as a Brit, 17 victories. That's for Sterling Moss, Graham Hill, Jackie Stewart, David Coulthard, Lewis Hamilton, and Jenson Button. And my favourite, David Coulthard, had won here twice in 2000 and 2002. Now, 5 drivers have recorded a Grand Slam, one of them being Senna, Schumacher, and Hakkinen in 1998. McLaren does have the most wins here as a constructor, though. They've got 15. Could they add a 16th this year? Who knows? There have been 11 occasions on which a team's recorded a 1-2 result. The most recent was Ferrari in 2017. So, yeah. And who can forget? It gets mentioned every time. 1996, Olivier Panis wins with just 3 cars actually finishing. Craziness. Absolute craziness. So, that is... I hope you've enjoyed a few of those Monaco facts. Let's get into the driver stories then for the Monaco Grand Prix. And the first one here, as I'm going to take a swig of my tea, it's Kevin Magnussen. Now, didn't do too well in Imola, partly because a certain Australian got in his way. Whoops-a-daisy Oscar. However, once again, as I said, with Imola, needs to do well. One person doesn't need to do well. He can almost hang his helmet up. He has a guaranteed contract for Sauber, soon to be the Audi team. It's Nico of the Hulkenberg. Yeah, well done, Hulkenberg. I think we all expect a really good Monaco from him. But someone that needs a good Monaco is Zhao Guanyu. He and his teammate here, Valtteri Bottas, they both need excellent Monacos. Could they do it? Yes. They could. I mean, Bottas has done really well here before. Yeah, it hasn't won. Also, what is it? The longest pit stop a few years ago as well. We're trying to get that wheel off. But they both need it. And you need a lot of downforce. You need a really nice car over good over those curbs as well. This is where they're going to have the absolute maximum downforce of the year. Another man that needs a good weekend is this man here, Daniel Ricciardo. Under pressure again after Tsunoda showed him up again in Imola. I was going to say Miami, but no. In Imola, he had a good one in Miami. But, and here's the but here, I expect big things from Daniel Ricciardo. Why, pray tell? Well, simply because Daniel Ricciardo is a Monaco specialist. He's won here once. He's nearly won here more than once. He's really good around here. And I'm hoping that he's going to challenge or maybe even beat Yuki Tsunoda to keep this little fight alive. I was listening, I think, to the race of the Autosport podcast, one of the two, and they basically said, no, Daniel Ricciardo most likely not going to Red Bull. Neither of these two are. Because as we said, only one of them, I think, is going to survive till the end of the year. But also, in order to get that Red Bull seat, one of them needed to absolutely destroy the other. And although Tsunoda is the dominant force in the Visa Cash App RBs at the moment, I don't think he's so dominant that he's guaranteeing that Red Bull seat. Although, I think he'd be better than Perez. I really, really do at the moment. So, we'll get into Perez in a bit, but here we go. Logan Sargent, this may well be his last Monaco Grand Prix in Formula 1. Although tipped to not be driving in Imola, but he was. No Kimi Antonelli rumours here, and also rumours that Valtteri Bottas could be going to Williams. We'll talk about that, I imagine, over the weekend. But Logan Sargent, yeah, once again, under pressure, needs a good race. I mean, I think at this point, he needs to win the Monaco Grand Prix to save his seat, sadly. Alexander Albon, again, not his fault for that disappointing Imola Grand Prix, but he is not having the 2023 that I wanted him to have in 2024, if that makes sense. Last year, he was a lot better. Needs to do well. Now, Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly, I think anything near the top 10 at this point is a bonus. They have scored a point, I think, all the way back in Miami. And it's Esteban Ocon that really is showing up Pierre Gasly. Now, there's rumours that both of them may want to leave the Alpine team, and it is Ocon rather than this guy here, Gasly, getting all those plaudits. So, next up, we have Lance of the Stroll. Yep, just finishing, I think, will be a bonus for him. There's nothing really I can say about this guy. Aston Martin, until you have a proper driver in your team, it's really hard to take you seriously. And the man who never blames because he knows who his paymasters are, Fernando Alonso. A really shocking Imola Grand Prix. I expect good things. Easily in the top 10, maybe top 5. Could he win it? It's not impossible, is it? If the Aston Martin was really solid there last year. But the sad thing is, obviously, McLaren and Ferrari have caught up. But let's see. So Oscar Piastri, could he spell a surprise? I think at the moment, the way it stands, either McLaren, Ferrari, or Red Bull. Red Bull in the hands of Verstappen, possibly the favourites going into Monaco. But it wouldn't surprise me if we have a McLaren and Ferrari win either. Especially with Red Bull struggles in Imola, Red Bull struggles in Singapore. Red Bull are now under pressure. But Piastri is going to have to beat his very talented teammate Lando Norris, who's now a Grand Prix winner. Landon Norris, according to I need to sort that spelling out. I'm sorry, but yeah, they really need to sort out Lando Norris first. I think Piastri does before he's got any hope of winning. Can he? Absolutely. I mean, he out-qualified him at Imola. But Monaco is a very much a different type of challenge. So if they've got confidence in the car, I think they'll do well. So next up, Carlos Sainz. He's falling back a bit from Charles Leclerc now, isn't he? After that epic start to the season. It's like Charles Leclerc now has got a slightly better handle on the car. And can Charles Leclerc lift that Monaco curse? I hope so. I would love a Charles Leclerc victory. Everyone, I think, would love a Charles Leclerc victory at Monaco. Will Mercedes stop them? I don't think so. Mercedes have often struggled at Monaco, kind of like they've struggled at Singapore. And once again, I said this is not Hamilton's best race. So George Russell could out-qualify him and outrace him. I think a lot of it depends on how confident Hamilton is with that Mercedes car, and in particular, the rear end of that car. He needs to be absolutely confident. But I think one of the people under the most pressure, I know Christian Horner gave him kind of like a buyout, basically saying, yep, Sergio Perez, it's just one race, and it kind of was. He's had a fairly solid start to the season, but boy, does this guy need to win over hearts and minds at Red Bull if he's not going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Winning the Monaco Grand Prix, I think, will solidify that contract maybe for next year. But I don't think he's going to. But he at least needs to finish on the podium. It's an absolute minimum, I think, for Sergio Perez. And what more can we say about this guy here, Max of the Verstappen? He's favourite going into Monaco, but not as favourite, I think, as he may have been last year or he has been for the other races. Looking at Miami, where Red Bull weren't great, Miami was a street track. Looking at Imola, where Red Bull again weren't great. Imola's not a street track. I can't add that bit to the end of it. But this, I think, This is the most we've seen Max Verstappen under pressure now, hopefully for a third race in a row. And as Fred Vassar, the boss of Ferrari, said, put them under pressure. There's a high likelihood they're going to make mistakes. And even though you've got pole, you kind of need to start in the front two rows really, unless you want an exceptional victory at Monaco. Putting them under pressure, the big thing is going to come if Max Verstappen, for example, gets that elusive pole position at Monaco, which will be good. He will need Perez there. Because say you got two McLarens or two Ferraris behind, in between Perez and Verstappen. What they can do, one can do the undercut, one can go longer and try different things to try and out-strategize Max Verstappen. Also, the chances of safety cars here as well are fairly, they're fairly high, to be honest, aren't they? Safety cars, yeah, they are going to come. Let's see. Every safety car deployment, I'm looking at the Lights Out blog, which is an absolutely fantastic website. Let's just quick have a look here. The safety car didn't make an appearance at Monaco until 2003. The first safety car appearance at Monaco came in 2003. Frentzen crashed at the swimming pool, coming to a stop in the middle of the track. 2004, we had it on lap 4 and lap 42. 2005, we had it on lap 25. 2006, lap 49. 2008, lap 8. It was raining there, wasn't it? And again at lap 60. 2010, lap 1. Hulkenberg crashed in the tunnel. Oh, Hulk. It's amazing. He's been around a while, hasn't he? Lap 31 in 2010. Lap 43. Lap 75 in the closing stage. That's where Michael Schumacher, I think, nicked by, didn't he? I think it was Fernando Alonso. 2011, we had it at lap 34. Lap 69. 7 and 72. And that might have been the one then where Schumacher, I don't know, one of them, Michael Schumacher etched through between the safety car line and the finish line. Absolutely 300 IQ move there, but it didn't count. It didn't count because the safety car line was before the finish line, and he was like, oh, we can race between the safety car line and the finish line, and I think he passed Fernando Alonso like in the last corner. 2013, lap 31, lap 47. How about in the most recent era of Monaco? Let's have a look, shall we? So 2022, we had on lap 3, that was wet conditions. So lap 3, lap 27, and lap 31. 2019, we have one on lap 11. 2018, lap 72. 2017, lap 60. 2016, lap 50 and 68 and 35. And lap 1 and lap 8 of 2016. And 2015, lap 64. 2014, first lap on lap 26. So there we go. As you can see, there's a fair few. There's definitely a fair few safety cars. So what's going to happen? I'm predicting Red Bull to be really strong, but really, really pushed by Ferrari and McLaren. Goodness knows what Mercedes are going to come up with. I mean, they could be anything from second row wonders to absolutely out in Q2 disaster. It really is a lottery when it comes to Mercedes. But stay tuned here. We'll have all the news going into the Monaco Grand Prix. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to like and subscribe, that'll be absolutely amazing. And we will speak to you soon. Thank you very much.